I was told Jonathon Brooks isn't going to play this year. He's going to stay on IR, and we're going to have to wait till next year. We're going to have to deep dive this. We're going to have to look at the advanced analytics. We're going to have to see what Dave Canales has to say about Jonathon Brooks before we wipe our hands of this. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're doing these deep dives every day. We're reacting to the new information. We're letting you know what's going on with these players with these deep dives on as many players as possible that are trending. On top of that, we're looking at the waiver wire every day, and we're using these videos to help you set your lineups. Click that button. Stop missing out. But the big news that dropped today is that Jonathon Brooks was questionable for Week 9, but Dave Canales says, hey, he's not likely to play. But also, what rolled out earlier, that he could be on the IR for the rest of the season. But we're going to take a look at what he said during this, which rolled out on October 25th.
Yeah, the goal that we met this week was getting 3 straight practice days. He did that. He finished today. So again, we just have to kind of collect all the information, and I want to make sure that he's fully confident and ready to go. And I think that's another week. So we'll revisit it again. We'll go hard next week and try to get him ready.
Does the possibility exist that he does not play this year?
It could be. But again, we're just going to take it week to week right now. And I'm really hopeful that, he can stack another good week and see what we got there.
From what we gather there is that he was just asked the question. He gave an honest answer. He just kind of took off guard from it. If you can tell from the response there where he kind of like doubled up on his wordage. But it's not outside the realm of possibilities. There are no certainties though whether or not he will play this year. However, they are ramping up his workload in practice. They're trying to get him playing in multiple practices a week. And it just keeps increasing as we keep rolling. Here's more from Dave Canales. Let's see what he's got to say from this interview.
Full week. So we got to look at him the full week. Again, Jonathon first, thinking about him, making sure that he's confident and ready to go. So we're going to stack up a few more days here before we make that decision.
What's going on here is they're just stacking up practices, seeing what they got under the hood. They're seeing what's rolling with Jonathon Brooks. They're not really thinking about the long term, whether or not he's going to be on IR the whole year or not. They're just looking at Jonathon Brooks, what they're doing in practice. They're looking at what's going on right now, and they're playing off that. The fact that they are practicing him hard and seeing what they can do with him is a good key indicator that they're going to try to work him in on the field. But from previous, here's another one, how he could be implemented in the offense.
And how much is it going to open up even more so the playbook when you get Jonathon out there?
Oh, with Jonathon, it's been awesome watching him run around. He's a special athlete, still getting his, he's got his legs under him now. So you see him, starting to accumulate those reps with the mid-zone runs that we've been having. And I think it's cool because we've been working a lot of pony packages with 2 backs out there, just trying to find different ways to get Miles and Chuba involved. So we're just trying to have him, kind of absorb all of that stuff so we can be flexible once he is active, get him out there in any way we can. Because he's shown to be a dynamic player, both run and pass, with the practice that we have seen. So we're just ready to plug and play when he's available.
They're ready to plug and play with him when he's available. They want to use him in multifaceted ways. They want to use him with Chuba Hubbard on the field. They want to experiment with him in the passing game. They're excited to have him. Jonathon Brooks is a tremendous prospect. Chuba Hubbard's not going anywhere. This is not a case of stealing his job. This is a case of being used alongside of Chuba Hubbard, getting some workload, busting off some runs, looking good on the field. And what we're seeing from Texas is a guy that can be very productive. Right before he tore his ACL, we got 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns, 63 missed tackles forced. We were dynamic last year. Of course, the years prior, Bijan Robinson was there. You're not going to steal his job. But still, we were productive last year. One of the top running backs in all of college football. We got drafted in the 2nd round. The first running back selected because he is a dynamic athlete. We got the size. We got the speed. We got the burst. We can catch the ball in the backfield. We create missed tackles. We're elusive. We can chain together moves. Everything this team needs on offense next to Chuba Hubbard This could be a good 1-2 punch, kind of like a David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs situation, but different players, but still you can use 2 running backs. Tampa Bay's using multiple running backs. Teams want to use 2 running backs or more. We're going to see that in Carolina going forward if he hits or if he starts playing well. Miles Sanders, 34 rushing attempts on the year, 139 yards, and a touchdown, 4.1 yards per carry. That is the workload we're looking at, because if Brooks starts hitting, that's going to get zapped. Chuba's getting a lot of work, but not too much work. Not like Kyren Williams. He's getting opportunity, and he's still efficient with over 5 yards per carry. Looking solid. We're not looking at Chuba. We're looking at alongside with Chuba, getting some run and getting eased into the offense and getting some workload and earning it through the back 9 of the season. On top of that, targets in the passing game. Miles Sanders got 23 targets so far on the season, 103 yards receiving. So those games where the Panthers are trailing, they can get Brooks in space. He's got that pop, he's got that wiggle, he's got that speed, and then he can give them a little bit something more in the open field. Miles Sanders, I think the book's written on him, and I think once they start getting Brooks in the open field a little bit, they're going to start easing him in a little bit more and then ramping up his workload as we get later into the season. The offensive line has been looking good. They've been looking good per PFF grades, and they've been really helping Chuba Hubbard and company get the yards on the ground. And that's a good thing for Jonathon Brooks, because we're coming back from a knee injury. We're going to be a rookie, and we're playing behind an offensive line that's holding it down. The Carolina Panthers here, when it comes to operating in a neutral game script, we're operating around 29.3 seconds between plays. We're also got a pretty much even-ish pass to run ratio, running it on 45% of the time. That being said, there's going to be opportunities in the run game and pass game. That being said, when you look at Jonathon Brooks going forward, you may want to keep stashing. You may want to see if you can buy low since that news came out and that circulated social media, because that was just a quick answer from Canales, and he kind of just moved on to the next thing. He was not 100% that he was not going to play this season, and he answered it the way he did because there's only probabilities, not certainties, and he was giving a true, honest answer, which is true, and it makes a lot of sense, but they're still ramping up the practice workload right now. So if you want to buy low off of that, I would try to, especially if you want to try and get a home run threat for the back end of the season, and you need him because you want to stash a running back like this, a guy with a lot of juice, a guy with a lot of upside, a guy with some wiggle. Even though the Panthers offense isn't that great, you would kill for a running back with touches right now that has some upside. A lot of fantasy managers would. This could be one for the back end of the season that you may want to chase for fantasy football, because Jonathon Brooks has the chance to win your season if he hits, kind of like a David Johnson back in the day. Another thing, there's a lot of rumors that Miles Sanders could get traded. And if that happens, if that trade does happen, it's just rumors. I don't even regard it as real. But if it does happen, that's a huge indicator that we're good to go with Jonathon Brooks. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.